What's wrong with you? Sit your ass down. Sit down. Shut up. What up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Danny, and welcome to another Clown World. Today we're talking about Lil Durk and a little bit about the situation where he's in right now. Before I go into the video, let me say this. Sometimes when you are successful in life and you're making money, sometimes if you come up in a certain neighborhood, like where I live right now, if I'm making money and where I live right now, I would definitely move away from it. I'm gonna find a peaceful, calm place where I can live, make my money still, enjoy my life, and take care of my family and all that stuff. Lil Durk is a successful young black man worth millions. Family man, has children and all that stuff. You know, I look at myself like this. I have nothing to prove to no one in this world. I don't understand how these rappers, these people are making so much money and they are in the wrong neighborhoods and still living the same fucked up, dumb, stupid life that they are living. We're going to listen to the story of the Lil Durk saga and then we'll take it from there.
A popular rap artist is behind bars after a shocking arrest as authorities accuse him of being connected to an alleged murder for hire plot. Chicago rapper Durk Banks, better known by his stage name Lil Durk, was arrested yesterday after allegedly attempting to flee the country, and at this time he's being held in a Broward County jail in Florida awaiting transfer to the U.S. Marshals. According to the FBI affidavit, the Grammy Award-winning rapper is charged with conspiracy to commit murder for hire. His arrest comes on the same day as federal prosecutors announced in California the charges of 5 other men for the attempted murder of Georgia rapper Quando Rondo, whose real name is Taquan Bowman. Prosecutors say those 5 men all have ties to Chicago gangs and all targeted the Georgia rapper in retaliation for the murder of Chicago rapper King Von. According to prosecutors, all 5 men, who include Kevon London Grant, aka Vonnie, Asa Houston, aka Boogie, David Brian Lindsay, aka Brown Eyes, Keith Jones, aka Flocka, and DeAndre Dontrell Wilson, aka Didi. They all face charges including conspiracy to commit murder for hire, committing murder for hire involving death, and use of a machine gun in a violent crime resulting in death. And the most serious charge carries up to the death penalty if convicted. According to prosecutors, all 5 men have ties to Lil Durk's hip-hop group Only the Family, also known as OTF. OTF was founded by Lil Durk more than a decade ago. And according to the FBI, OTF members engage in violence, including murder and assault, at the direction of Lil Durk and to maintain their status in OTF. King Von, whose real name was Davon Bennett, was also a part of OTF.
This is going to be a RICO trial.
And frequently collaborated with and was a longtime friend of Lil Durk. King Von was shot and killed in November of...
I heard about the King Von shooting and I saw the video, but you know, people don't understand, like nowadays there's cameras everywhere. You don't get away with these things easy. This man got shot in a public street. There was tons of people there. They always follow the money, right? They always follow the money.
2020 outside a nightclub in Atlanta. He was killed in the early morning hours of November 6th during an argument between 2 groups that escalated into gunfire. And he was fatally shot by Quando's associate Lil Tim after the argument. The indictment doesn't name Davon Bennett, aka King Von. Instead, the charging documents state a high-ranking OTF member described by the initials DB got into a physical altercation with someone referred to as TB, and the circumstances surrounding that incident mirror King Von's murder. The indictment says after DB's death, co-conspirator 1 made clear in coded language that they would pay a bounty or monetary reward to anyone who took part in killing TB for his role in DB's murder. That co-conspirator is allegedly Lil Durk, who authorities say made it known he would pay a bounty to anyone who killed Quando Rondo. According to the court documents, the men used an OT.
If you send this in a text to people like, yo, listen, man, I'm putting a bounty on this man's head.
OTF associated credit card to buy plane tickets to LA in August of 2022 to
use a credit card to buy plane tickets to fly to LA.
Search for TB, who is allegedly Quando Rondo, and using funds provided by Lil Durk. Durk allegedly texted an associate arranging the flight, "Don't book no flights under no names involved with me." And prosecutors...
What kind of criminals are these people, man? What kind of criminals are these people? This man sending a text saying, listen, when you buy that ticket, do not mention my name or put anything that comes to me. What? It's in the text. You said it. Look, when you get arrested by the police, right? They take your phone. They will take your phone. They will go into your phone and they will find the people. Even if you think you've deleted the text, they will go into that shit because your phone remembers this bullshit. They will plug it into the system and they will drain the fucking phone until they find the shit they need.
Claimed when there, Kevon Grant booked a hotel room for the men to stay at and provided the others with firearms. Grant allegedly procured cars, ski masks, and firearms that were used to find, track, and kill.
Bro had a good life. Lil Durk, you had a good life, bro. Why would you go and do this to yourself? Why? It's senseless. It is senseless. This is why all these people who are in gangs and shit, bruh, if you're making money and you're making hella bag and everybody, you have, what? Imagine this, yeah? Lil Durk is making this money. This man has a lot of people that depend on him, that work for him, that do stuff for him. Last thing you want is to have a crew or a gang to be out there and doing dumb shit under your name. Even the mafia never roll like that. They don't know you. As far as they know, the shit never touched the boss. The boss doesn't know anything about it. He just said, deal with it. That's it. They go and do their thing. It never comes back to him.
TB. According to the FBI, there is video evidence that Durk was staying at the house in the San Fernando Valley that day. A lot of the stories that we cover here at Law and Crime are very tough to tell, but part of the reason we're able to keep bringing you these follow Rondo and his 24-year-old cousin. But when Rondo and his cousin stopped for gas, according to prosecutors, Asa Houston allegedly drove to a nearby alley before Keith Jones, David Brian Lindsay, and a third unidentified man known in the indictment as co-conspirator 2 carried out the shooting, which was captured on surveillance video. Rondo wasn't injured. However, his cousin passed away after being fatally wounded. According to court documents, the 5 men and co-conspirators,
you niggas gotta stop killing each other. You gotta stop all this gang shit. It's the same thing that goes on here in UK, in London. People are getting stabbed sideways. I personally would never raise my children in London. Never. Ever. I'd rather raise them in a farm place, wherever. I'm not saying that no crime would happen on a farm neighborhood or whatsoever. But I'd rather do that than have my children grow up in London, where they go to school, where they're involved with all these people. And one day, as a parent, you're going to get that call that you don't want to say that your child is in the hospital because it's been stabbed 9 or 10 times. My cousin was stabbed in London, right? He was stabbed in London under a fucking, under like a passage, a braid passage, whatever. He was stabbed in London. And if it wasn't for him struggling to go to people for help, he would have died. This motherfucker would have died, but he survived. As soon as he got better and all this shit, guess what he did? He get the fuck out of London. Now he doesn't live in London. Bro, London.
use facilities of interstate and foreign commerce, such as planes, cars.
And I'm not saying that everywhere in London is bad. I'm just saying that there are certain places in London where people are having these postcode wars and gang and all this shit. Bro, don't listen. Life is too beautiful for me to go there and get this shit done. I'm not saying that where I am right now, crime does happen. People do get stabbed and shit. You know what I mean? You know, but I'm trying to step away as far as I can from this bullshit because I don't want to put myself in that position where someone is pointing a knife at me. I either have to run away or trying to defend myself and then maybe stab him with the same knife. Don't want to do that, man, because they're gonna be like, yeah, you had a knife off of his hand, why don't you just walk away? Nah, this motherfucker's trying to come for my life. You know what I mean?
Cell phones and the internet with intent that the murder of TB be committed. After the shooting, according to the indictment, the men went to a nearby burger spot to discuss payment. Then on the same day, the credit card was used to purchase tickets for Keith Jones, David Brian Lindsay, Asa Houston, DeAndre Wilson, and co-conspirator 2 to travel back to Chicago. Lil Durk wasn't named in the charging documents against Grant, Wilson, Jones, Lindsay, and Houston. But according to the indictment, the defendants were offered money and lucrative music opportunities with OTF for the murder of Quando Rondo.
Bro.
Prior to Lil Durk's arrest, the Chicago rapper was being sued by the mother of Chicago drill rapper FBG Duck. FBG Duck was murdered in 2020, and his death led to several convictions in a federal conspiracy trial last January. But his mother sued Lil Durk, OTF, and King Von's estate, alleging they were all involved in the shooting as well. According to the suit, OTF operates as a criminal enterprise. After Grant, Jones, Lindsay, Wilson, and Houston were arrested Thursday, the FBI says Durk booked 2 flights from South Florida airports, one to Dubai and one to Switzerland. He then reportedly booked a flight to Italy, but was arrested in Miami before he could board that flight. Lil Durk and the other defendants are being held pending their transfer back to LA. I want to bring on now Detective Eric Barnes to break down this case even further. Eric, thank you so much for joining me today. You know, Lil Durk is a really popular rapper.
I was going to say, like, does she have like a snot hanging there, but I realized it's like a little tiny nose piercing. Looks nice. It's cute. She's a beautiful woman.
But what's your reaction to his arrest and his alleged connection to this murder for hire plot of Georgia rapper Quando Rondo?
Well, you know, it's a very interesting case. I've been following it for some time now. But it's very representative of things that are going on within the hip hop community these days. One foot in the studio, one foot in the streets.
And talk to me a little bit about retaliation within gang culture, maybe even hip hop culture as well, too, that we can even trace back these events in particular, kind of in a way, starting from King Von's death in Georgia in 2020, and 2 years later, Quando Rondo's attempted murder, where his cousin was actually killed during this ambush. What is your kind of reaction to just this whole web and trail that has been going on essentially since 2020, even probably prior to that too?
Well, you know, one of the things that's been popular with hip hop artists is to maintain the same group of friends that they had since they were kids. Maintaining that loyalty, not changing up and becoming a new person because you have fame. And so in keeping these alliances, you know, sometimes there's beef that follows from the streets into rap. And, you know, like I said, these guys live, you know, day to day, and their alliances also live that same lifestyle.
And, you know, reading through this indictment, there appears to be this really heavy level of planning to allegedly carry out this murder. Plane tickets were bought, cars were rented, ski masks and firearms were bought. Talk to me a little bit about the sophistication you may have noticed within the planning and these allegations.
Well, you know, one of the things that you have to, the hurdles, so to say, that you have to get over in this case is just the geographic difficulties going from Chicago to California to commit this offense. And so there's only a couple ways you can get there. Either you can drive or you can fly. And, you know, obviously the advantage of flying gives you more of a time advantage. You can get there faster, but you also leave an electronic footprint. And that's what it seems like law enforcement was able to pick up on, was the electronic footprints that were left from purchasing the tickets. Now, when you fly, you also have to have transportation on the ground. So you have rental cars. And if you're there for an extended period of time, that also leads to maybe a hotel stay.
You know, as we talk about this level of planning, it also appears there was also this element of not so great planning if you didn't want to be caught. And some of the 5 defendants actually used their real names, their birth dates, and photo IDs to book this travel. And then one of the co-conspirators actually texted another co-conspirator saying, don't book no flights under no names involved with me. What's your reaction to kind of just doing this allegedly and using your real name, your real ID, but also kind of wanting to keep this on the down low as well, too, of not wanting to get caught?
Well, I think that you know, when I read over that, I was kind of surprised by that, with how, you know, unhidden that was. But I think also it plays to the element of what their motivation was. And it seemed that, you know, there was some discussion of payment. And so sometimes individuals are so intrigued by being able to get their hands on whatever this payment is that they overlook small details, and leaving your name on a receipt or on a reservation is one of those things that they missed.
When we see kind of these types of cases, a lot of times, I think sometimes the defendants are allegedly always kind of wanting one specific target. But then there are some cases where someone else is hurt or killed, kind of in this focus of retaliation. What are your thoughts, given that Quando Rondo's cousin was actually killed when the murder was allegedly plotted for him?
You know, I think it's always unfortunate that innocent people get caught in the line of fire. It's something that we deal with often within street violence. But I also think within the streets, there's also a mentality when there's a retaliation and gang culture that if you get caught riding with someone that I have beef with, then It just kind of, it's the rules of the streets. Like you put yourself in that situation, and now you have to, unfortunately, read the circumstances of it.
And there's also been rumors circulating online that there might have been an informant or even a snitch within OTF that may have revealed more to the feds. Do you think that's at all possible in this case, that they needed an informant on the inside to kind
Of course, it's possible, like, to have a snitch, because if they offer this person a great deal, whereby the person go like, listen, I am gonna come out of prison, right? So therefore, I'm taking this deal. If they offer that person that deal, they'll take it. They're like, yep, I'm taking this deal. Yeah. And then they'll tell them to sing. And then the person is going to sing the song that the police want. And then they're going to build their case. Before you know it, they come for you.
kind of give a scoop into kind of how everything was planned out and kind of how everything kind of came to fruition?
Well, I know that there was very detailed information, and it definitely indicates that the investigators did a great job digging up surveillance footage and being able to uncover some of the intimate details. I don't know if there was an informant necessarily, but it seems that they do have some very personal details in their indictment.
And given if there was possibly an informant, kind of how do they all play a role into this case? Because again, within the culture, a lot of times there is a no snitching policy. But what are your thoughts on whether or not there might have been an informant and kind of how that may have all came into this as well too?
Well, you know, the no snitching thing is very huge in the street and within the hip hop culture. But one thing that within the law enforcement community, when someone is looking at a significant sentence, which I think murder for hire either carries.
Look at that. Bro, throw all of this away just to kill someone.
In some sort of situations, death penalty, and also life in prison. You know, it's every man for himself at that moment. And so the old cliche of the first one to talk gets the best deal, normally that weighs very heavily in these cases.
Some of the defendants, in addition to being offered money, were also promised lucrative music opportunities if they carried out this murder. And I know we've kind of been having a discussion about, you know, how rap culture kind of bleeds into gang culture. But what's your reaction to kind of this lucrative opportunity given they carry out this bounty?
Well, you know, it's the American dream of wanting to be able to create a better opportunity for yourself and your family. And unfortunately, a lot of individuals have, you know, the dream of making it in the rap business, and they're just not given the opportunity. So that is something that is going to be very alluring to a lot of individuals because they not only want to be able to have the rap contract, but also the rap lifestyle, you know, and some people are willing to do whatever it takes to get that.
And sometimes when we see these cases, especially gang cases that are also kind of double as like hip hop cases, you know, YNW Melly, this case with Lil Durk, even YSL, I can't help but notice just how young some of the defendants are and some of the alleged activities that they're being accused of doing. They're so young, you know, in their 20s, probably started maybe when they were teenagers. But what are your thoughts on just how young some of these defendants are?
Some of them going to do years in prison. By the time they come out, nobody even talks about them no more. Nobody cares about them. That block they're fighting for, nobody cares. My thing is, I don't understand. Why are you fighting for a street block? It's not yours. You don't own it. You don't own that street. You're going to go and do 50, 60 years in prison. You're going to come out. That whole street is going to change. All those people that you knew that lived on that block, they're all gone. They're all gone. Some might be dead. Some might be living a better life. But you're throwing your life away by doing dumb shit. You get dumb price when you do dumb shit. You go to prison. You're going to spend the rest of your life in prison. For what? Just because someone offered you to kill someone to make it in the music? Bro, if you're good at music, if you're good at what you do, listen, a little bit of grind, a little bit of hard work, you will make it. You will definitely make it.
Are when they're kind of coming up like you.
If the baby, my thing is this, if the baby can wear a diaper and walk around just to be to make it as a joke, and then he became famous, bro.
Just mentioned wanting this American dream, but then at the same time having this kind of tie to the street culture where maybe they don't see the actual consequences of what could happen. Either they go to jail or they may end up dead on the street. What are your thoughts on just that whole layer and aspect of it?
Well, I think one of the things that weighs heavily on the influence is the fact that, a guy that you may have grown up with, seen around the neighborhood, now he has his lucrative rap contract and is driving, foreign cars and living in expensive houses and traveling, all across the country. They almost become larger than life. And so when you have a young individual that maybe hasn't had the best role models in life, what they're able to see this individual achieve is going to be larger than any kind of verbal warning that someone can tell them. They're going to take their word as being, good. If I can carry out what is being asked of me, then maybe I can live this lifestyle as well. And I think that reality weighs heavier than any consequence that you can think of.
And as someone who is a detective who works with street gangs, kind of what are you hearing from the inside that you'd be willing to talk about on camera as far as, maybe just what the motivation is to kind of continue to be a part of this lifestyle?
Well, obviously the what everyone is doing right now across social media as well as the streets and within the street culture is they're kind of unpacking this indictment. They're trying to breaking it down line by line, trying to piece things together, figure out if there is an informant, also figuring out if this was something that was carried out on behalf of King Von, and just connecting the dots on, their from their levels. But I think that what factors into that is the theory that, nobody plans to get caught. The plan is we're going to do it. We're going to get away with it. And we're looking 100 yards down the field instead of seeing what's going on right now. And the factor of getting caught now being named in a federal indictment, that part is not really thought of too heavily because, again, nobody factors in that I am going to get caught for this.
And kind of going back to the Lil Durk aspect of it as well, too, he was, again, a very popular rap artist. He had a lot of popular songs and a lot of fans did look up to him. But it seems, though, as we don't know at this particular...
And then the crazy thing about Lil Durk is Lil Durk got the key to the city. The mayor gave Lil Durk the key to the city. It's crazy.
Point, but it seems, though, a lot of people may be alleging he's kind of the kingpin in a way of the OTF, and that he is someone who carries out these plots, essentially kind of running a criminal enterprise. What are your thoughts on just kind of how people allege these popular rap artists are these kingpins in a way of criminal street gangs?
Well, I think with this case, it's going to be very interesting in how it plays out, but we're going to really get into the basics of rap being entertainment or rappers really living what they rap about. And I think there's definitely something that's a hurdle the investigators are going to have to get over, with just proving that this Lil Durk's role in OTF wasn't merely entertainment, that he actually had a role within the street culture of OTF.
And do you see any other hurdles that investigators may come to find when they're kind of going through this case?
Well, anytime that you're dealing with multiple people with inside, in an indictment, co-conspirators, what's people's roles kind of change, and then there's money as well involved with some of the people that were discussed in this case. So it's also heavily influenced by the street life and culture, gang life and culture. And so what they have today may change, and hopefully on the investigators' end, what you see in that indictment would only kind of snowball and grow larger. Maybe they're able to develop more evidence and convert some of these co-conspirators into witnesses for the government.
All right, Detective Eric Barnes, I appreciate so much your insight into this case. Before we sign you off, is there anything else you'd like to add about just where the case goes from here?
No, I think from what we see in this indictment that the investigators did a very solid job investigating this case, and kudos to them.
All right, Detective Eric Barnes, again, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
They took their time. They worked the case. They interview the people. They make deals with people. But the end of it is they all want the big fish. And if the big fish is Lil Durk, bro, it's done.
Thank you.
According to reports, Jones and Houston have a scheduled hearing in Chicago on Monday. However, Grant, Wilson, and Lindsay have reportedly waived their right to a hearing and will instead be sent to Los Angeles. Reporting for Law and Crime, I'm Elizabeth Milner.
I'm not saying that none of us can get in trouble. Everyone can get in trouble. But my thing is like, if I'm living a good life, if I'm like living a good life and I have the cars, the house, the this, the that, the girls, the da da da, and all kind of thing, why am I going to put myself in that position? I don't want nothing to do with anyone who's going to bring me to that. Because not only that, I'm going to lose all my money, I'm going to lose time with my family, I am going to lose my houses, I'm going to lose my deals, you're done. You're done. You are done. It's going to cost you a lot of money to defend yourself in court. It's just, bro, it's just mind-boggling that people can put themselves in this position. It's crazy. Lil Durk is done. Lil Durk is done. Like in this case, the way they've built this case, if this goes to the, he's done. If they can if he wins this case, bro, he's the luckiest man ever. But the way it sound like they have locked all avenues just to make sure that they got the right guy. And he is the right guy. And unfortunately, his family and everybody else around him that work for him, and they have to suffer because they're going to be without a job. Like imagine you're working for him and you're the manager, whatever kind of stuff. You're going to lose your job because your client is gone. It's gone, Anyway, my name is Donnie. If you like the show, press like, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys on the next one. Stay safe, my people, man. If you make money, get away from these streets, man. Get away from these people. Move far away as far as you can. It doesn't matter if they are your friends. Move far away, man. Do yourself that. You're gonna do yourself a tremendous favor. For real. Stay away from these people, man.